Hi, it's Lynne Kenney. A few of our friends have asked us to go over some of the activities in musical thinking and in 70 play activities. So I wanted to chat with you about an activity I've been doing for a really long time. When I first started this, we called it Sequence That or Sequence This. And what we would do is, I've talked with you about how important sequencing is. Basically, sequencing is an executive function that assists children with organizing their approach to tasks, identifying the task, and then identifying the subtasks. And I always call this, when I do my 6-hour brain talk, I talk about this being one of the biggest gifts you can give a child, because when a child understands that there is a beginning, middle, and end to tasks, and that within that beginning, middle, and end there are subtasks, like little parts of the task, then they feel less overwhelmed. I call it making the task transparent. So when we used to do Sequence This, we used to just take an activity, like a musical thinking. I think we did brushing our teeth. And I've mentioned to you before that when I wrote down all the parts of brushing your teeth, there were like 50 pieces. And I was like, oh my gosh, no wonder getting kids to do something as simple as brushing their teeth is really hard. So all we did in musical thinking was we gave you like this printout that you were able to do with the children to go through the steps of brushing your teeth, and then you were to choose an activity of everyday life, whatever the child likes, and then talk about, wow, well, what are all the pieces of that? What do you do first? What do you do second? What do you need next? So when Rebecca and I were chatting about that one day, we made up this activity that we call the Parts of a Task game. And it's for a whole class or a group. And essentially what we do is you take a task as a group. You could even have multiple tasks. And you take little index cards and you write down the subtasks of that activity, okay? And then you make them a stack, you mix them all up, and then the children come and they draw a card, and then they chat with one another about what comes in which order. Then, once they've decided what comes in which order, they stand in a line with their cards. Sometimes they make mistakes, that's okay. So then you can walk up to somebody and say, Joshua, will you chat with Janie about each of your parts of that task and see if you're in the right order? And it's a wonderful opportunity for the group to talk about what are the different parts of the task. So the example that we have in the 70 Play Activities book is actually making a turkey and cheese sandwich. And so we basically identified that to make the sandwich, you need to get the ingredients, get a plate, put 2 slices of bread on a plate, put 3 slices of turkey on a slice of bread, put 1 slice of cheese on a slice of bread, put the bread, cheese, and turkey together, cut the sandwich in half. You could add mustard and mayo if you want. Cut the sandwich in half, and we joke because our chatting, we did this one time and the kids were like, well, we cut it horizontally, and kids were like, no, you have to cut it on an angle because then it's easier to bite. So it creates all sorts of wonderful kind of cognitive conversation. Then you put away the ingredients, you wash the implements, the plate and the knife. So that's one of the activities, and I just printed this out and noticed that I love that the little square is blue. I love that the book is blue and black and white, just trying to make it a little prettier for you all. So that is the Parts of the Task game, and I hope that you really enjoy it, and I hope that you modify it and change it and improve it and use it to create all sorts of cognitive conversations with your class or your group in therapy. Chat again soon.